Hi, my name is Jayoza, and I coach people who have to give high stakes speeches, whether it's a high stakes conversation, a job interview, or a formal speech. I want to talk to you about something, and it has to do with, do you know why people are not good at public speaking? We always see all kinds of tips and techniques on how to become a better speaker. But I think it comes down to three main reasons, and they are connected actually. The number one, everybody gets this: fear. Fear is number one. The second one is time. And the third one is method. I'm going to go into each one in a little detail. So let's take a look at the first one: fear. I like to think of fear as a constant. We all have it. You have it, I have it, everybody has it. If somebody doesn't have fear when they're speaking in front of an audience, that means they either don't care about what they're speaking about, or the stakes are simply not high enough for them to have any fear. But I'm assuming the stakes are high and you're gonna have fear. And it's natural. We all have it, like I said. But we have to learn to overcome it. That's the only thing we can do. We can't say, I'm gonna get rid of fear. You can't get rid of fear. Fear is there, like it or not. That brings to the next one: time. What I found is that people do not understand how much time it takes to develop a good speech. I was listening to Michael Port's podcast, and he had Seth Godin, that famous author, entrepreneur, speaker, and a thought leader too. And he said something interesting, and had to do with a TED Talk that a famous author named Elizabeth Gilbert gave. And he said that she worked on that speech 4 hours a day for 3 months. You're talking about over 300 hours for a 10 to 15 minute speech. I don't know who has that kind of time. Now, she's famous, she probably had good coaches and everything. Most of us do not have that. But this is just to show you the time it takes to deliver one good speech. Now, most of us are not going to just give one speech. We have to constantly speak, whether it's an introductory speech, an impromptu speech, an informative, persuasive. So we have a lot of speeches to give, and that's what I'm assuming here. You're not just going to live off that one speech that you're going to keep giving over and over again. That brings to the third reason: method. People do not have a method that helps them. And because you don't have a method, you end up spending a lot of time. And eventually, for one speech, you can spend a lot of time and overcome your fear and succeed. But that's not practical for most of us. So you need a method. Typically what happens is people just wing it. They'll do some little preparation here and there. They probably won't even record it, like the way I'm recording this video. And they'll rely on PowerPoints, and they'll present. Most likely it ends in a disaster, unless, like I said, the speech is not that important, or the person doesn't care. But you at least got through a speech, so the person probably feels good, but the person will not achieve his or her overall objective for giving that speech. I call that winging it. Second thing that I see happens quite a bit is they'll ask their friend or colleague to give them feedback. Now, that's not a bad thing. That's definitely better than winging it. The problem here is that your friends and colleagues may not be good at this. They might tell you something that's not useful and won't tell you something that is useful, and that's what you risk. And at the same time, remember, it takes a long time, and you got to be good at giving and receiving feedback. If they're not good at this, it's not going to be of that much help. But like I said, it's better than winging it. At least you'll get some idea. The third thing that commonly happens is people will say, oh, I got to give a speech in a month. I need to go take a course. They'll sign up for a 3-day course. I call these cram courses, where they'll learn a lot. And these are good courses. You'll learn a lot. But again, unless you're focusing on the speech you have to give, it isn't going to be that helpful. Again, this is probably better than the first two, but again, the jury's out whether how much it's going to help you. And again, you got to realize this is not cheap. You're going to have to spend probably close to $5,000 to take this course if you can get into one and if it's good. The fourth thing is to get a coach. A coach is definitely my preferred way, but there's a problem here. If you have never taken a public speaking course, or you lack the knowledge of what makes a good speech or a bad speech or a mediocre speech, you're not going to know how to work with the coach. So here there are several things you got to be good at. First of all, you got to be coachable. A lot of people I've found are not coachable at all. Second is you should have some knowledge so you know exactly how to work with the coach. And the third thing is the coach has to be excellent, so that he's not giving you information that you just can never pick up. Like, let's say if I'm an acting coach and you come to me, if I give you acting tips, but that's not you, you're not an actor, and I can't turn you into an actor, it's not going to be effective. But the fifth thing is to go through a course at your own time, like the Coursera's course, Introduction to Speaking, and learn it on your own. Become a student, become a teacher, become a coach, become a practitioner, become an evaluator, and become an assessor. All these things, you have to start thinking about public speaking. And then you will be in a position to decide whether you need a coach, or you may have a mentor you can work with, or if you decide, if depending on the stakes, you may want to get a coach and help you on specific things to help you. So let me tie all these together. Fear, time, and method. They all are connected. Like I said, fear is constant. You can't make it go up or down. It's there. The only thing you can do is how you work on these other two things, time and method. If your time and method is greater than fear, then your speech is going to be successful. And if your method is really good, then you may not need to spend a lot of time. But time is required. I'm not going to say time is constant. Time is dependent on the stakes. So if the stakes are not that high, like I'm recording this, the stakes are not that high for me for this video. I've put in maybe half hour of preparation. But let's say if I was giving this speech in front of a large audience, the stakes suddenly become much higher. And I need to be much more coherent and rehearse this several times. I may end up spending maybe 25 hours, 50 hours, 40 hours, I don't know. But the stakes determine the time part. And the method is something that you have to have developed starting now, so that you don't have to think about the method as when the high stakes speech is near. Okay, so if you want to succeed as a speaker, you got to understand these three things: fear, time, and method. And I think once you understand that, you will know what you have to do. And if you have any questions, please send it to me. Let me know what you think. And thank you for watching.